morning, children. Hope all of you are safe at home. Now, let me give you the answers for the assignment that was given to you last week. Now, the first question, what are villi? Where is their location and function? The inner walls of the small intestine have finger-like outgrowths called villi. The villi increase the surface area for absorption of digested food. Question 2. Name the type of carbohydrate that can be digested by ruminants but not by humans. Cellulose is a kind of carbohydrate that can be digested by ruminants and not by human beings. Question 3. Write one similarity and one difference between the nutrition in amoeba and human beings. I'll give you one similarity. That is, in both amoeba and human beings, all the 5 stages of nutrition takes place. The difference, human beings have a complete digestive system, whereas amoeba does not have a digestive system as it is a unicellular animal. Now match the following: salivary glands, saliva secretion; stomach, acid release; liver, bile juice secretion; rectum, storage of undigested food; small intestine, digestion is completed; and large intestine, absorption of water. Now let's begin this class, children. Hope all of you are doing good. Now look at the pictures on the slide. Now these are the 3 basic things in life for humans: clothing, food and shelter. Now all these 3 are equally important to humans. Now as you have already studied, you know that food is very important for man to survive, and similarly shelter. Now what do you think, or what is the importance of clothes? Clothes can insulate against cold and hot conditions and provides a hygienic barrier. Hygienic barrier meaning your body is protected from various diseases. So, clothing, food and shelter are the 3 basic things in life for humans. Since the prehistoric era, there is a drastic change in the clothes that humans wear. Now the early man used only leaves to cover their body. As time passed by, man started covering his body with animal skin. So later on what he did is, he started using animal skin, fleece and fur to cover his body, and this was very helpful. But what about the clothes that we wear today? We do not cover our body with leaves, or we do not cover our body with animal skin. So there is a drastic change, and we use these plant and animal products, to synthesize fine threads which are woven further to make beautiful fabric. Now let us understand the beautiful science used to make these fibers and then turning them into fabric. Now first let's see, what is the meaning of the word fiber, or what is the meaning of the word fibers? Fibers are nothing but they are long threads that can be converted to yarns. The second one, the meaning of the word yarn, Y-A-R-N, yarn. They are long continuous length of fibers that can be woven into fabric. Next, the meaning of the word fabric. Fabric is just the piece of cloth that is used to make clothes. So now do you understand why the lesson is named Fiber to Fabric? So we have fibers with us and how that fiber is converted into fabric and how that fabric is converted to the different types of clothes that you wear. Now fibers are of two types, natural fibers and synthetic fibers. Natural fibers are those fibers which are obtained from plants and animals. Example, cotton, wool, silk. Synthetic fibers are fibers made by humans, and this fiber can be either made in the laboratory or in factories. Example, nylon and polyester. Now natural fibers are again further divided into two types, plant fibers and animal fibers. Plant fibers are obtained from plants. Animal fibers are obtained from animals. Now under plant fibers, example, we have cotton. We will have studied about cotton in detail last year. Jute and linen. Okay. Now this jute is a vegetable fiber and it is very cheap to produce this fiber. And jute is very easily grown here in India and in Bangladesh. And India is the largest producer of jute in the world. And jute is usually used to make jute bags, sacks, expensive carpets, etc. Again, linen is another fabric which is another natural fabric which is obtained from flax plant. I think you would have heard of the word flax seeds. So from this plant the natural fiber linen is obtained, and linen is very strong. It is very strong and absorbent. That means it can absorb water very easily and it dries faster than cotton. And animal fibers, the two examples given to you is wool and silk. Okay, now let us talk about animal fibers. The common animal fibers that all of us know is wool and silk. Now wool is usually obtained from sheep, goat, yak, camel, etc. And silk is obtained from silkworm, which we will talk in the later session. Now the hairy skin of sheep has two types of fibers. One is coarse beard hair and the second one is fine soft under hair. The coarse beard hair, which is rough, is usually not used to make fibers. Only the fine soft under hair, the hair which is very close to the skin of the animal, those are used to make wool. Now let's talk about the different animals which yield wool. Now usually these animals which yield wool have a thick coat of hair on their body so that it protects them from the cold. So what do you think happens because of the presence of this thick coat of hair on their body? This hair which is there on their body traps air, AIR, and the air is a poor conductor of heat. Now since air is a very poor conductor of heat, what happens? The warmth in the body is maintained. It does not lose heat. The animal's body does not lose heat and it keeps the body of the animal very warm. So the most common wool which we usually get is sheep wool. Now let's talk about the other animals which yield wool. Now look at the picture on your slide. You can see the picture of the yak. Most of you would have seen the picture of yak, or some of you would have seen it really. Now the yak is a long haired domesticated animal. Domesticated, you can take care of it at home. Domesticated animal which is found in the Himalayan regions of Tibet and Ladakh. The wool that is obtained from yak is very soft and it provides a lot of warmth. Now the next picture that you can see on the slide is of the Angora goat. Now this again is a domesticated breed of goat. Domesticated breed of goat. The wool that this Angora goat provides is very lustrous and it is known as mohair. Lustrous meaning it is very shiny and the fiber is known as mohair, and these Angora goats are usually found in the hilly areas of Jammu and Kashmir. Now we also have another animal called the Angora rabbit. Now this Angora rabbit provides wool or provides fiber which is called Angora wool. The fiber that we get from Angora goat is mohair and the fiber that we get from the Angora rabbit is called Angora wool. Now the next animal that provides wool is the camel. The camel wool is derived from the coats of camels or camel hair. Now this type of wool is highly insulative and you can make thin garments can be made from this wool. Now look at this animal on your slide. It is actually a domesticated animal which belongs to the camel family. Actually it looks like a sheep, isn't it? But this is a domesticated animal which belongs to the camel family and it is found in the Andes mountains of South America. It is found there and the wool that is obtained from this animal is very soft. The very soft wool you get, and it comes in different colors like white, grey, brown, etc. Now look at this animal. This is also another species of South American camel. It's called the alpaca. So the alpaca are South American camels and the fiber obtained from the alpaca is used for making blankets, sweater, hats, gloves, etc. Now the wool that is obtained from this animal is also soft and durable. Now one very important and interesting feature about this animal, the alpacas, they communicate through body language. They communicate through body language means whenever they are angry or whenever they are very scared, they start spitting. This is one small extra information that I wanted to give you all about this animal. Now we have spoken about different animals which yield wool. Now let us go on to rearing and breeding of sheep. Now what do we mean by rearing and breeding of sheep? Rearing is to take care of sheep and to breed them is the production of offsprings. Now in our country there are many places where sheep are reared and we have different types of breeds that are there even among these sheep. So here I'll give you the names of 2 or 3 breeds of sheep that are found in India and the kind of wool they produce. Now the first one is Lohi, which is a kind, or it's the name of a breed of sheep which produces good quality wool, and this animal is found in Rajasthan and Punjab. The next one is the Rampur Busher. Again this produces brown colored fleece and it is found in Uttar Pradesh and Himachal Pradesh. Now the third one is Nali. This animal provides wool which is used in making carpets, and this animal is found in Rajasthan and Punjab. So I have just given you the names of a few breeds of sheep and where they are found. Now let us talk about the processing of fiber into wool. Okay children, now you all know that sheep yields wool, right? Now if it has to yield wool, we need to take care of it, isn't it? So how do we take care of these sheep? Now first thing is, all of you know sheep are herbivores. Herbivores, they eat only grass. Now only eating grass is not enough for these sheep. Other than that, if it has to have a thick growth of hair on its body, what we have to do is, these animals are also fed on a mixture of pulses, oil cakes and minerals. Then the next method what we have to follow, during winter these animals are kept indoors, they are not allowed to go outside, and they are fed on leaves, grain and fodder. So you give it enough amount of food so that there is a, a thick growth of hair on its body. Then the next step what we follow is selective breeding. What do we mean by selective breeding? We select sheep which have thick coat of hair on their body, and they are bred in such a way that they produce offsprings which also have a thick growth of hair on their body. So did you understand the meaning of selective breeding? The next, the reared sheep. Once the reared sheep have developed a thick growth of hair on their body, that is shaved off for getting wool. And usually we do this shaving off the wool during the summer season. Now let's begin with the processing of fiber into wool, which is done in 6 steps. Okay. Now the first step what we have to do is, the fleece, that is the hair of the sheep, is removed from its body along with a thin layer of skin by using machines. Now along with a thin layer of skin it is removed, and this does not cause any pain to the animal because the thin layer of skin is actually dead. Okay, so this process is called shearing. The process by which it is removed, that process is called shearing, and it is almost like how when you go for a haircut, you don't experience any pain, right? The same thing happens over here. The animal does not experience any pain. Now let's continue with the next process. The next process is called scoring. Here what happens, the skin is sheared now. Once the skin is sheared, this sheared skin is washed. It has to be washed in huge tanks. It's put in huge tanks to remove all the grease, the dust and the dirt. So this process is called scoring. Now after the process of scoring, the next process will be sorting. So what they do is, the hairy skin is now sent to a factory. Once it is sent to a factory, what they do over there is, they try to separate the hair of different textures. So different textures meaning some may be short, some may be long, some may be thick, some may be thin. So all these different textures are separated, and this process is called sorting. Okay, now after sorting, the next step what they follow is, the small fluffy fibers called burrs, which are small fibers, they are separated from the hair. Okay, and again this fiber is washed and dried, and it is now ready for dyeing it into different colors. That is, you give it different colors. You can give it any color of your choice. So it is dyed, D-Y-E-D, dyed into different colors. After giving it different colors, this fiber which is ready over there, you can see on the picture, is then straightened. It is straightened, it is combed and rolled into yarns. Okay, yarns are thick, long, continuous lines of fiber, right? Which I have already studied. So now the fiber is ready and it is rolled into yarn. After it is rolled into yarn, you can spin it, or it is later on spun and woven into fabric. Now this is a picture which is just showing you the process of converting the fiber into wool. So he's just showing the picture of how the sheep, how they have sheared the sheep, how the fleece is removed. After it is cleaned, washed, and the sorting is done. And after the sorting is done, it is taken to that machine over there for combing. Now can you see that carding machine which is combing the loose fiber into a sheet? It's making it into a sheet, and after that, that sheet is just twisted and it is converted into a rope-like structure called silver. Now silver is nothing but it is just a bundle of fibers over there. Now that bundle of fiber is ready to be converted to yarn, and from the yarn you can convert that into fabric. So that is how wool is obtained from sheep. This is just a simple diagram which is showing you that. Now children, take down these questions and try to answer them. The first main is fill in the blanks. The removal of fleece along with a layer of skin is called dash. The process of selecting parent sheep for obtaining special characteristics in their offspring is called dash. Air is a dash conductor of heat. Then the second main, give 2 examples for each of the following: animal fibers, breeds of sheep, man-made fibers, camels that yield wool. Now we'll discuss the answers in the next session. Thank you, children.